Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and here today with another excellent piece of pre-owned inventory. This one is a 2020 Taycan 4S. So, if you don't know, the Taycan is Porsche's first all-electric vehicle. So, it's not a hybrid, there's not a gas tank anywhere in this thing, it is fully electric. And was kind of a show of intent from Porsche. There will be a whole lot more electrification coming down the road, and so far so good, to say the least. This one has been a massive success. We've sold quite a few of these, and the response has been really quite good. This one being the 4S. As with any Porsche, the 4 indicates all-wheel drive. In Canada, they're all-wheel drive, though in other markets you might see rear-wheel drive models out there. And then the S tells you which, not engine, but kind of, power plant, you could say, or in this case, battery pack, is in the car. So there's a 4S. There's now, they've introduced the GTS as well. There's a Turbo and a Turbo S, so different kind of levels of power, but the same basic car, just like when you look at our 911, where you have the S GTS Turbo, same kind of thing, just now in an all-electric sedan. So the Taycan itself is a really cool thing, but today we're going to talk about this one in particular. So being a 4S, you get 522 horsepower, but actually this one has the optional Performance Battery Plus, which bumps that up to just over 560 horsepower. So right now it's technically the base model Taycan. That's the lowest amount of power you can get, is already over 500, which is pretty wild. You get a whole lot of performance with these cars. They are very much a Porsche first and an electric car second. But again, speaking about this one, so it is Carrara white metallic, though it may not look like it right now because that paint is actually covered by a clear matte paint protection film. So that's just something we offer here. We sold this one brand new, and we did this treatment to it at that time. So it is, it's not a white wrap or a vinyl wrap. It is just a clear paint protection film, just like you would get, on any car. And most people nowadays will put it over the kind of the front half of the vehicle. But we've got the option to do that same concept, but in matte, and you can do the whole car. So it really kind of changes the look up of the vehicle while still giving you all of that, protective kind of benefits that people generally want with that paint protection film. So really cool, unique look with this one. We did it to quite a few cars, and really just adds something unique and special, and protects it. So it's a cool thing to have. These wheels are a 21-inch. This is the exclusive design wheel. Probably my favorite wheel design that was available at the time. And then kind of one step beyond that is to paint it in the gloss black, which has been done here. Standard finish would have been fully silver. I generally like a silver wheel, but with this one, putting some of the black on there just dialed up the contrast, made it look a little bit more interesting to me in this configuration. What else outside before we dive on the inside? Well, you may notice some kind of round sensors on the front. That's because this one does have the adaptive cruise control. So regular cruise control is standard, but the adaptive is optional and allows you to set your following distance from the car in front. If that car slows down, then this one will automatically to maintain that gap that you've set. So makes longer drives a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more mindless, I guess you could say. Let's move on to the inside. Black interior, as we see in most of these. You can't really go wrong with black. And it has the premium package. Now, you'll see, with our cars, premium package, sometimes premium plus package, and year to year they change. So do be careful and look into what exactly you get in a specific model year with that package. In this year, with the premium package, you get the 14-way adjustable seat. You could also have gone to the 18-way if you wanted to, with a kind of a nominal upcharge from there. But this one has the 14-way, meaning you get the thigh extension as well as the lumbar support, in addition to the kind of standard forward, back, up, down, recline angle controls that you would have. And then you get position memory with that as well. The seats are also heated and ventilated in the Premium Plus package. You get the lane change assist, which is blind spot warning. You also get the Matrix LED headlights. So that's our top level headlights. They are, of course, fully LED. The Matrix part is referring to kind of the high beam assist system, where in previous generations, you have your high beams on, when a car's coming the other way, turns them off. With the Matrix system, it allows you to keep most of those LEDs on, still on full high beam, but then turn off only the specific ones that affect that car as it drives by. So you get kind of a dark spot as that car is going, but the rest of your not line of sight, but field of vision is still fully illuminated with your high beams. So really, really cool if you do late night driving. You also get the Bose sound system as part of that package, and the surround view camera. Again, rear view, standard, but the surround view gives you the full 360-degree view. Looks like a kind of a top-down perspective, right? Makes parking the car super easy. I think that's about what you got in that package. Moving on from that, this one also has the passenger display, which to me is a must on the car just because it's kind of unique. Certainly in our brand it is. We don't have a lot of cars where you can add additional screens to them. So with all of the Taycans you have, your instrument cluster is a screen. You have your main PCM or kind of infotainment system in the center, and then below that you have another touchscreen where you can control various different things. Optionally, you have the passenger display, which is then, as the name suggests, right in front of the passenger and largely kind of duplicates that main PCM screen that you have in the center over there for your passenger. So for example, they could be putting in a navigation address over there that they can then kind of send over to the other one for you to use, or they can be changing the radio station, or they can also look at your speed and G meter and all that stuff. It's really cool. Not necessarily gaining a ton of extra use, but it's really neat and just cool to have, and makes the car feel very high-tech, as it should, being our first electric car. Beyond that, the adaptive cruise I mentioned, the DC, onboard DC charger. So a big story with this car, when it came out, and frankly still not a lot of manufacturers are doing it, is the 800-volt architecture and the DC charging. So what that all means is that if you have access to one of the fast chargers, which aren't exactly ubiquitous yet, but there are quite a few out there, including one at our facility here, you can plug into that, and that, the basic architecture combined with optioning that onboard DC charger means you can get about an 80% charge in the car in roughly 20 minutes, which is pretty crazy for an electric car. You don't have to worry about plugging in for hours. It's a pretty convenient fill up. Really cool to see, and again, quite unique still in the segment to have that kind of charging speed. Also, the electric sport sound, which is a cool one. What it does is kind of like an electric interpretation of our sport exhaust, where you have the button that makes the car louder and just sound a little bit more aggressive. With this, of course, there's no engine, there's no exhaust, but what it does is kind of amplify the natural noises that the battery and the whole kind of drivetrain uses. And it's, people have used the term Jetsons noises, or Star Wars noises, stuff like that, where when you turn that on and you step on the accelerator, you get these kind of whirs and buzzes, and initially all of us thought, it's kind of a novelty. I don't know if that's really necessary. But when you are driving it, it definitely adds to the experience and the immersiveness of the drive and of the performance. It feels a little bit more just familiar when you have that kind of crescendo of sound that goes along with the acceleration. The same thing, kind of under braking, the noise changes and kind of works an opposite, where it then kind of dials itself back down as you're slowing down. And it's a pretty cool thing. I definitely recommend you come and test a car out and see what you think of it. And then as well, of course, significantly, this is a Porsche approved certified pre-owned vehicle. So it's a 2020 model year, as I mentioned off the top, but this is one that arrived quite late to us in that model year, so it wasn't actually registered until January of 2021. So that was the warranty start date, and now with the certification, that means it has full comprehensive Porsche warranty until January of 2027, and there's no kilometer limit on that. So you can definitely buy with a lot of confidence that, firstly, we've been through the vehicle, it's gone through our inspection and reconditioning process and all that, but beyond that, you have several years of kind of worry-free driving in terms of, if anything goes wrong, it's covered, you don't have to worry about it, and that is even extendable beyond that if you chose to keep the vehicle past that, and transferable to the next owner if you didn't, so it's an added kind of bonus that way too. I think that just about sums up everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, I should mention, it's got about 16,000 kilometers on it, if you didn't see that already in the summary. And one other thing, actually, worth mentioning is this is a sedan. In the back seat, though, you have the option to have it seat 2 or 3. You can do what they call a 2+1. So standard would be to have just kind of a plastic center console type thing in the rear seats, but you can add a third seat. That was done in this car, so it is a true 5-seater, 5 seat belts. Definitely a car you can use every day with that all-wheel drive seating for plenty of people. It's a cool thing, but I've spoken enough about it, so if you're interested, if you like the video, come down, check it out, take one for a drive. When we're done here, this one will be on display upstairs in our showroom, so yeah, please do come pay us a visit. Thanks very much for watching.